For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Max Bean. I'm working on RB on this touchless forecasting skill.
Already sweetened us up with
Yeah, sweeten you guys up. I just got back from Japan last night on my honeymoon, so I brought a bunch of Kit Kats and these weird Hershey things. If you guys please eat them. And yeah, just a little bit more background. Before this, I was at Deloitte for 4 years as a tech consultant. Worked in a bunch of different areas of technology. So I'll get us started. So what are the advantages of touchless forecasting? Basically what we do is we generate a forecast for RV. And the advantage of having a good forecast is, if you over forecast, then you have a bunch of products that's sitting around. You have to pay for inventory costs for those products. But you have enough products to fulfill your customers and your service levels are high. If you have an under forecast, then you don't have as many inventory holding costs because now you're not holding that inventory, but you're missing sales with your customers. So the advantage of having a good forecast is that you're not having too many inventory holding costs, and you're also having the most amount of sales and festival sales. So in the past, to generate a forecast, if a planner was to look across a bunch of different data sets, it'd be pretty hard to figure out based on, say, promotional data, market data, what's the optimal forecast that you should generate. Now we use machine learning algorithms to actually generate that kind of insight. And also, traditionally require a large team to do this kind of analysis, whereas now we're using computers to do it, so you can do it at scale. Okay, so how's this thing actually working? So what do we actually mean by touchless forecasting? So the way that this is working is twice a day we integrate with our data sources. The data sources will be JDE, which is transactional data and sales information. They're just going live with SAP now, so we're having to harmonize that data between JDE and SAP, actually. We use some of that Nielsen data that Yoshi also uses, which is basically what's being sold at the retailer themselves. Really, the insight that we have is how much product are we selling to a retailer, but that tells us at the retailer how much product is being sold. And we use promotional data, so we know when a promotion is going to run in the future, what's the expected uplift from that, what's the depth of discount associated with that, and also in the past, when were promotions ran and how successful were they. So what I mean by touchless forecasting, the way that this works is basically there's no touching involved. Once a week, we have a job that'll automatically turn on the data science server, kick off this pre-processing logic. We'll use forecasting algorithms to generate a forecast, do some post-processing activity. Then we generate a flat file output, which gets put into an SFTP location, and RB automatically picks that up. So from the touchless point of view, that happens without any intervention, and that's really what we mean by that. So after we do the integration, there's a few different things we do. Pre-processing logic, where the first thing is something called continuous zero logic, where we'll see if one SKU is being sold and then it stops being sold and another SKU starts being sold. But those two things are actually the same product. It's hard for, say, that second product to know how you can forecast against it because you don't have enough sales information. This thing will actually stitch the sales information together and tell you, it'll use that consolidated sales information to predict it in the future. We calculate this volume sales on discount, which is how much the lift, like I mentioned, based on that promotion, and also the discount that was created. And Nielsen, like I was saying before, we see how much sales were produced at a specific retailer, and then we actually use more machine learning algorithms to look into the future and predict maybe what would the sales be of that retailer in the future. This is run once a week. So, Nielsen, I think we get refreshed once a month, but it's integrated with that file twice a day, actually, and we generate the forecast once a week.
Segments, product segments. Some product segments will be hard to forecast or unforecastable.
Yeah, so they select the exact SKUs that they want to forecast and which ones they don't, and those ones that are particularly volatile, they won't choose the forecast for those, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute.
Continuous zero logic, this mapping between a predecessor and a successor product, is that read, or do we try to identify automatically which one?
Automatically, and I'll show you. I have a really detailed slide of how that works. After pre-processing, we do this forecast generation, so we will use, I think, a couple dozen algorithms to predict what's the best performing one, then use the best performing one to actually generate the forecast. And then for post-processing, we take that forecast and we have to do some modifications so it's in a proper format for RB to consume. A couple of things that we do before this whole thing kicks off is we do the SKU selection, so we tell which ones we want to be forecasted against. And then there's a forecast override skill as well, which, say for example, no matter what error forecast with the algorithms, they want to lock it at a particular value. You set that ahead of time, and then whatever gets outputted, it just overrides that in post-processing. Right now, we do this for about 200 SKUs, and it takes around 9 hours to produce a forecast, and that's using 3 data science servers, which is actually quite expensive. So originally, the solution was built where you were required to have JDE data, which is transactional data, Siebel data, which is promotional information, and that Nielsen market information. And mainly what I've been working on since I joined was getting it to a state where it'll work with or without, with JDE or SAP or both. And now the Siebel and the Nielsen data are both optional. You can see here some of the information that we need to make this work. So basic transactional data, like how much was sold to what customer, what was the item, what plant did it come from, and then the price and the unit measure associated with that product. So how we harmonize this data between JDE and SAP. So we have, for both JDE and SAP, we have a centralized sales stack that's surrounded by a bunch of dimensions, where the dimension could be like the customer, the part, the unit measure, the base price. And what we do is we actually first harmonize that JDE data into the SAP dimensions. Then we harmonize the JDE sales stack into the SAP sales stack, and then we have one basically consolidated sales stack that's surrounded by the harmonized dimensions. And we can go back into that a little bit more. You guys want to talk more about that. But I'll just move forward for now. So the first thing we have here is the SKU selection screen. So I want to show you how this is working. So this is the screen, and first thing you do is select what country you belong to. So this is configurable by user role. So if you're a U.S. personnel, you only get access to the U.S. screen, and you can configure what the manage users. Then you can filter this down by brand, by specific segment, which is just how they work at RB. But you can basically do these filters, and then you can select an individual SKU to be activated or deactivated. And then depending how you drill into this, if you want to just select, say, a particular brand, you can just select the brand. They select all and apply it, and it'll apply this for all SKUs in that brand.
Is there any pre-processing that we're done to analyze the variability of to recommend things that you would say to unforecastable sources?
No.
It's a manual one by one. So
yeah. It picks which ones are going to be forecasted together.
So last week you run this on the end node, or is it on the you have the end node open? So is it
It doesn't matter. It will show the same thing even on the node. The only difference is that this is live integration must be set up on this.
But what is the reason of why do you even allow this?
Yeah.
Why don't you let it run and see whether our output is only ever?
So for particular SKUs which are extremely volatile, say there's like data